Well, good afternoon. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. We are endeavoring and making progress on the U.S.S. Franklin from the movie Star Trek Beyond. We've gone into the color blocking and light blocking phase. That's all been taken care of, and we're moving towards our construction and build. You're going to see that what we've got is quite a bit of grinding and some drilling for the wiring chases coming up, and definitely working through how to set this model up for lighting. Very excited about working on this. Moebius has done a great job of putting this together and putting it into place for the building with a lighted kit, not just a static kit, but adding light to it. So very excited about moving forward. So if you would, before we get started, just gently tap that like button. I would appreciate it. You don't have to smash it, but it always helps. And if you'd like to subscribe or share the video, please do. That always helps the algorithms and helps the channel to grow. So sit back as we move forward with the U.S.S. Franklin, and we'll begin the build series. Thank you. Okay, work progresses on the U.S.S. Franklin. And I've already been stymied by one thing, but another thing I'm making progress in. So, trying to cut my chases for wiring to go up the pylons and out to the nacelle. You can take this, it's the end cap, part number 8. Well, this is part number 9, the starboard side, and that fits in here really quite nice. Let's see here. Yeah, it fits in like so. And what I did is I took my drill and put a mark on there and drilled through that, and then drilled through the actual pylon itself, which the inside of that comes right down and should be able to go right out to this. And I'm going to have to put a hole through that yet to come up to the back side of the pylon, because it's kind of a little bit of interesting area. Because it's actually what I'm going to have to do, I think, is cut here to get that wiring to come out at the right spot. So this gets sandwiched by another part. So if you can see that, what I intend to do is cut through that, and it'll be kind of back through there. I'm only trying to cut through that section right there. I don't want to cut through lower than that. So I'm going to put my mark here that I don't want to cut through lower than that. So that's the next, so that wire can come up through the pylon, and out through the pylon, and then up into the nacelle. So I think that is how that has to go on. This is one that's already completed. And that fits in kind of like that. So, yeah, it's a little bit of finagling on the wiring, but I think once I get there, you can see then I can go in and then cut up through here. And so I'm seeing here that I'm also going to have to cut up through this piece here for the wiring chase as well. So I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up or not, but I've got to go through that wall to come up. So definitely some interesting surgery here on this, and I've already marked the piece for the other side, the other pylon, and it's kind of the same thing. I am going to there we go. So that is going to sit against there, and then this piece sits in like so. So turning my little drill on, and I'm going to slow this way down. I'm going to turn it off for just a second and clear the melted plastic off the off of it. And so now, turning back on, we've got that locked down. I need glasses, folks. That's locked down. I'm pushing down hard with my thumb here. So I'm going to drill 4 holes, and I'm going to go all the way through plastic wall. That's at part 8, starboard saucer end wall. So I'm going to go all the way through that in 4 corners. And watch your angle there. That was interesting. Oh, it's because it melted a little bit. And you got to watch your angle. You don't go too deep in. You want to come in at definitely more of an angle here. Oh, because I'm hitting that. And then same thing up here. You want to come in at a decent angle. Definitely have my speed too low on this drill. That's part of it. So again, yep, cutting through that one, and then the last piece, last corner. Okay, so now I can take that and drill that, and I've got my 4 holes there. And this is just really kind of pretty straightforward, coming in with a faster drill. And use it more as a grinder. Nothing like the smell of melted plastic styrene here. And that, my friends, should be enough room to get a set of wires through that chase. And then same thing here. I'm going to follow the same. I need to clear that plastic off. Sorry for the noise there, folks. So, now if I put this chase back, or this nacelle back on, and back to the wall here, and that fits on like so. Come on now. From the back side, you are completely sealed and covered. You're never going to see either one of those, and you've got good progress there. So, same thing. I'm going to mark off. I'm going to mark off an area here, and an area up and down, so that chase can go through there. Now, I'm not going to go through the bottom there. I'm just going to go through the side and cut that chase like that. there's only maybe 5 wires total that are going to go in there. 3 for the Bussard collectors, and one time with this on it. Yeah, 3 wires for the Bussard collector in the nacelle, and then 2 wires for the outlet bulbs that show the exhaust. So now I'm prepared to cut these out, cut those out, cut that out, and then once I've got those, then I'll be able to set a nacelle against there and see where that hole needs to go. And that is wiring, cutting wiring chases for the pylons and up to the nacelles. The rest of this should be pretty good. I don't think we're going to need it, but so that is the first. The other challenge I've got is I was hoping to lay these in here the way that they go in each area and kind of just lay them in there. Well, they don't fit well enough, and it's kind of a challenge. So hopefully my solution is there. I do not want to fill up. I do not want to fill up these 2 grooves. The groove where they actually glue into, and then the glue where the glass goes into with paint. I don't want any paint on those. So my thought is that I've got 2 sizes of two sizes of vinyl. There's one, and I think that's going to fit around that edge. And this is just vinyl pinstriping tape. This is just vinyl pinstriping tape. I believe is the right width. To go right around through there. So pushing it down in as I go. And this is, I think, maybe 1/8 inch vinyl tape here or something like that. Yeah, so it's just something like that, where we're putting the vinyl tape in. And that should give us enough spacer in there. Should cover up enough of that plastic that we're not going to have a problem with the glue, because I don't want this to come undone. Kind of tough to go around all these corners. like so. And just kind of definitely working it down into that groove. So that's the white, and then I've got really thin tape here for the windows, which is in black. It's kind of even smaller, but I have to take the backing off of that, so that is next. Anyway, let me keep working on that, but I'm not going to be able to place these in there like I was hoping. And I've got to tape that off, and then I'm going to tape off this section here, then go do some additional light blocking. So let me continue to work on the wiring chases and the taping, and then we'll get to some light blocking at some point. So until we talk to you again, we'll be back with you soon. Appreciate it. We'll be back with you soon. Thanks. Okay, hey, progressing on with the U.S.S. Franklin from Moebius models, the 1/350 scale. It's been just a little bit of prep for the primer. So the bottom piece, you really don't have to do anything more than, like I said, cut your spots for your chases in those side pylons, and that is ready to go. And I'm ready to throw some light blocking primer onto all of that. So that bottom piece is fine. When I last left you, I was trying to use vinyl to fill in this ring where all of these pieces here are going to go, so that they'll actually glue in. So after failing twice with that, just with the curve and so forth, I then moved to micro mask, liquid masking thin, and basically I poured that into a fine line applicator. I got that at Hobby Lobby, and that is just an absolute awesome little applicator. I mean, it just can go so precisely exactly where you want it, and nowhere else. And then it's got a lovely top on it, so that works great. And I went ahead and gave 2 coats to that interior. Now the other piece, the vinyl did pretty well, but for the most part, the rest of this is going to be, it's all done with micro mask, and then I'll peel both of those up after I've got a coat of primer, my light blocking all done in there. The other thing I did was went ahead and glued in the front bridge portion, which is 2 pieces. It's this section here, and then it's this piece for the window there. So that has been put in, and I'm ready to light block the interior of that. Using the very cool base that they provided, but I'm not going to use the other squirrely thing. I'm going to put this on a post, but they do provide this star here to fill up that piece there, to fill up that groove or slot. So I sanded that smooth, and now I'm going to throw a coat of primer over this, because eventually I'll want to paint that and figure out how to do that. So that is ready to prime, light block and prime from there. Then I've taken my, this is just poster board. I take blue painter's tape, do a double stick to it, and then put all these pieces on it, and that way I can start getting a couple of coats of black and then a coat of white onto this. And really that's a whole series of pieces. I need to flip this actually and light block that. So you've got your pylon sandwiches here, your end caps on the pylons themselves. This is your walls that go around. Here are parts to the citadel, and again to the back of the impulse engines, and then finally to the back cones of the impulse spots. And so that is that's going to be interesting to light block that. I might have to hand brush black into there, not sure. And then of course we've got all the other parts that have been cleaned up, and I spent some time with my sanding blocks to just make sure that that's all ready to go. So the next step now is to go into the primer, and get some light blocking done on this. So I will be back with you when we've got that accomplished. I'll see you in a bit. All right, folks. Hey, progressing on with the U.S.S. Franklin, I have been working on my system for the lights that are going to go into this. And I have spent some time learning the Arduino, A-R-D-U-I-N-O, Uno R3. Very, very cool chip, and this is the Nano version, the Arduino Nano. And that is this chip here that you're seeing in front of you. So it's relatively small, and small enough to fit inside of a model very easily, quite honestly. These are just sorry for the actual messy wires, but these are simply just jumper wires. And right now I am powering this from my Luxtude, and that's just about out of juice, so I need to change that out. But what you're seeing, and actually we'll just change that out right now. There we go. Need to charge that. So what you are looking at is the lighting system that I'm going to put into the Franklin. And I'm going to add a couple of pieces that I think need to be done. So on the top, there is the nav, green and red, and I've got those represented here by the green and red, blinking at 500 milliseconds. 500 milliseconds. So a half second on. I'm sorry. Every half second, they're on for just 100 milliseconds. So sorry about that. And then the double blink strobes. They're not triple blinks like I used to use, but these are double blink strobes. And where they're going to go is in the tail, and then they're also going to go into. You're just going to go into the tail, into the strobes, and these are main strobes, two there. And then you've got a flashing tail right here, and I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that in the center top, and I'm going to put that in the center bottom, and I think that's going to go. I think I'm going to put that right there, right in front of the horseshoe, okay? And that will be a belly strobe for anti-collision lights. And then the blue is represented by all of the lights that are going to be in the in the unit. That's all of your main cabin lights. And then this light here is going to be the that light is for the Bussard collectors right here to turn on my chips, and it's going to be for the exhaust to turn those lights on. So those will have 4 lights going in. And I think with this chip embedded into the system, I think that I can run just one set of wires from the base up to just power up to this, and then we're done. So I am really thrilled with that opportunity. And the Nano's got a 5-volt in if you want to do it that way, or I can just run a USB line into it. So I haven't decided which to do yet, and but when I do, I'll let you know. But for right now, this was a major work of science to get to this point, to where I've got the flashing strobes, the double flashing strobes, the flashing navs, and this this light here flashes at a different rate. Main power to the lights, and then the basically the warp engines with the nacelles and the exhaust. So that will be very cool.
Now I do have to run up here to the main line. I have to run one set of wires for the strobe, and then one set of wires for the SARD, which is actually 3 wires, and then one set of wires for that light that's going up to there. But that's okay, and it'll be the same thing. So I've got to run seven lines up to that, just to wire these in here. But I've got more than enough room to do that, and I think we're going to be in pretty decent shape when it comes to putting this together. So stay with me, and when we'll be back, we'll have some more progress. The primer is drying in the other room, and when the primer is dry, I need to put another coat of primer on it. It is looking pretty good though. And then after that, a coat of interior white, and then we'll bring it in here and start building. Now that I have this figured out, I am very, very thrilled with that. All right, that's it. I'll be back with you. Thanks.
All right, hey, welcome back. Let's talk about progress to the U.S.S. Franklin, and where we're, I don't want to say stymied. It's just a little bit of a challenge here, but we'll get through it. So I have 2 suggestions. I went ahead and put my first 2 panels in before I realized I probably shouldn't put those in yet, because the way that this glass fits in and so forth, even with loose mask, I think that's going to be very challenging to paint that, to get like the entire window sill painted. So I went back into the paint booth and starting with my paint, because they're so recessed. I mean, they're recessed terribly in there. I think that, 1, it's going to be hard to mask, which is fine, but 2, it's going to be a challenge to get those sills painted. So I went back in and I painted all the sills first with my hull color, so that's got at least 1 coat on there. Now I can go in and tape these off and put them in. But we do have, and I'll see if I can hook this up. It might be a bit of a challenge, but let's see if we can't get this to light up here. In dealing with the 2 marker lights, blinking navigation lights, there's a red and a green on the top hull. Where those are placed is inside. Where those are placed are inside of that groove. Now what I did is I took my drill and took out the innermost spot so I'd have room for my wires to go through. So I shaved that off, and now I've glued in a red SMD. This is an 0802 SMD, very bright, very, very large, and we're pretty close on the fit. I need to shave that down just a little bit, but you can see that if I don't do some light blocking, I'm going to have a red set of lights right there. They look great on the actual model. They look fantastic, but on this here, we're definitely a challenge with the fact that I've got to light block that. And I think because of the light, now what I did, I'm going to turn this off, I don't know if you can see that as well, but what I did was took my microcrystal clear and glued it in with that. I got to glue the wires down so that they don't pull on it. But also what that microcrystal clear does is it fills in that hole. It fills in the hole here quite nicely, really nicely. And so what I'm going to do is now take black paint and paint over that microcrystal clear. So that keeps that black paint from curling down around into underneath that and blocking your light exit source. And I'm going to use a high gloss black that goes in there. But I think to do that, I'm going to have to shave down this piece here I'm going to have to shave that down just a little bit. So, you know, honestly, where that light comes in, I'm just going to have to just give myself a little bit of room, both in the clear plastic and on the top. And I think we can do that just like this. And now we've got more than enough room to go in there, as you can see. So, just a tip on those two, make sure you light block over your lights, or else you'll, and especially if they blink, they're going to show up hard. So your goal would be to have zero blinking, zero light coming up through the, or going down into the hull, so that you can keep that glass good. Everything else, I'm pretty excited the way this is coming together. Also, I've got the rudiments of the interior done. As far as the photo etch kit with the resin pieces, I have to glue the chairs in, but first thing I'm going to do is give that a coat of primer. Also have the top ready for a coat of primer. And I think that's going to look really nice when that, and then I'll hand paint both of those, including the 5 chairs that I got. So that is all very, very cool stuff. Also photo etch, I got in the piece that fits over the front window. That really nice. I got to get some primer on that before I go much further with any more painting or anything. But other than that, that is in good shape. And I'm working on where to put my lighting that's going to go on the interior of this. Here is the lighting that I found, which is this awesome light. So it's bright white, but not cool white. It's kind of right in the middle. I think at 5,000 or 4,500 Kelvin, and that is going to be just dynamite inside of there. It's going to provide enough light to get that done. But I got to figure out where to put that. So I think I grabbed the lower hull. I think that there's plenty of room to go right around that horseshoe there, and that'll provide light to a lot of these lights here inside. And then I'm going to need to go carefully around. I think I'm going to go around here, but that's going to be a challenge because actually not. I can go far enough forward. I'm going to try to put it against that lip right there to light up all the windows. And then I've got to drill out these, there's 10 on each side, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 thrusters on each side of the hull. And I'm going to use fiber optic to, and a flickering blue bulb to simulate the thrusters on that. So I got to do some drilling there, and we will figure that out with the width of my new fiber optic cable, which I got. And I'm going to use this 6/10 of an inch, or 6/100 of an inch rather, not 6/10, 6/100 of an inch. It seems like it's pretty nice stuff, and I got this in my local hobby shop. And I don't want to go thicker than that, but I think that that is right on scale, right on size, yeah, with each of those thrusters. So if I drill those out, I can put that fiber optic in there, and that's 10 feet of it, so I think that's enough, because it's only going to be like maybe, you know, 3 or 4 inches to each one. We'll see. Might have to go get another batch, but hopefully not. But yeah, so we're making progress. All right, I will be back with you after we get this light blocked, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Continuing on with the U.S.S. Franklin, wanted to show you a quick update. I have replaced the LED, white LED that was in my breadboard with a LED that I have embedded into the rear of the nacelle, whatever this exhaust is. And basically it's very simple. What I did is I drilled a tiny hole, and these are 0402 SMDs. They are super tiny, and basically just I inserted it into there, and then I've drawn it down tight against the frame there. Now I'm going to countersink that just a little bit, but I think you can see from the side I'm getting just fantastic light all around. It's much better than just putting the LED in the bottom and let it shine up for a strobe, because a strobe, you want that super bright white as it comes out, right? So this is just a nice test of that. One of the things that you'll want to keep in mind when you are light blocking this, I doubt if this will show up, but we'll give it a shot. When you light block that, don't forget to get this little insert back here with some paint. I missed that, and you can see right through it. The other thing that I did in order to facilitate that, this is just a mock-up of the nacelle. And in essence, what I've completed here is I've drilled a small hole. I just taped that together and drilled a small hole that will accept a 3mm LED, but it won't let it go all the way through. So this does a couple of things. It'll be very easy to light block that, so I'm not getting light into the rest of the nacelle. And secondly, this will help with the location of where this fits on that circle. And I guess the other thing is that this way. And then I also drilled a tiny little hole here to allow it to go into a tiny little hole here for these two wires to feed. So that should feed through, and then we'll put some little glue over the top of that, and that should secure all of that quite nicely, quite honestly, which I'm very excited about. So we are making progress with the lighting. The next step is I'm going to pull this. I'm going to still recess that a little bit, put it back through, and glue it down with some microcrystal clear. And then I can tape over that to mask it off and then paint and move forward. So that is the nacelles progress on there. On the secondary hull, I'm sorry, on the primary hull, we've made progress with our light blocking, and I'll see if I can plug this in and get us going here. Yeah, so actually have light here on the green. I'll make sure I'm in shot here. There's light here on the green, but there is no light there that's shining through using that light blocking process. So that is the green side, and we'll see if we can't get to the red side here. I'm going to turn these off. There's no reason to keep looking at those blinking. Move all that forward there. And I was just running all of that off of my little 5-volt battery there. On this next one is the red battery, or the red marker light. And again, that's going to flash at that rate there. And we're testing our light blocking process. So, let me kill just a couple of these. I don't know if it's going to cause a problem. But there is no red coming up through the bottom, but there is red underneath. So, I've successfully light blocked that, which is great. So next, and I did this just for insurance, we'll light this back up. I'm going to take my window part, which is right here, and one of the things I did, I just wasn't sure if that was going to work. I routed that down just a little bit to go over that paint, and then I painted the bottom of the glass with a gloss black, just with a brush, to hopefully seal that in to keep it from causing us any problem. And we are fitting like a just absolute dream in there. No gaps, and I don't know, there'll be a light leak, I'm sure, but there's no gaps there. So I'm ready to glue that one in and then move forward with gluing the rest of these in. And that has been just kind of a fun little process to figure out and get that taken care of. I have primed the bridge from the photo etch parts. They're in primer at the other spot, or in the booth. And I went ahead and put primer on the back, gray primer on the top of the hull here and on the bottom, because I would like to put that, I'd like to paint in these areas where the glass goes. And so that's next. I'll paint that and paint that. These aren't so bad because they're not recessed sills like the ones on the side windows are. But now we're also ready to put like this piece of glass in here. Oh, one other thing that I did, part on the Citadel calls for this part here to have a piece of glass in it. But, let's make sure we're in photo here. Yeah, we're doing all right. This piece here is the top of the Citadel, and it gets a piece of glass. They call it the skylight. However, it goes over the top of this piece here, which did not have a hole in it. And also, this didn't have a hole in it as well either. So what I did is I drilled through there, and now when you put that in place and put a light up through there, you will have the glass will light up, and you'll have light. Also glued on the back this piece here, and we will have to get that up and running soon. But for the most part, that's ready to receive glass. I'm going to paint that with the color of the hull. Anything that gets glass, I'm going to paint the color of the hull in, just so that it won't be such a hard time to manage the mask and manage the paint on that. So that is awesome. Thrilled with the progress we're making. I'm going to move forward with painting those areas that I want to paint, and then get the glass in, and then we'll flip it over and really get to wiring in the lighting and the bridge module and things like that. So let me go to work on that, and I will be back with you. Thanks.